Well, good Thursday morning to everybody. Hope you are doing well. We have another game in our July the 4th schedule. This is going to take two practical weeks to play out because it got behind from being out for a couple days. So we're only at our second game on July the 4th. Normally I'd be playing this on a Tuesday, not a Thursday. But like I said, a couple games behind. We're at Municipal Stadium in Cleveland. Chicago White Sox, Cleveland Indians. Game 549 overall the replay. Municipal Stadium. Symmetrical for singles, but the home runs have a slight differential. 11 for singles for both sides, but home runs are split up 8 left and 11 right. Chicago comes to game 35 and 41. Cleveland comes in 30 and 48. Pitching matchup, right-hander Rich Dotson on the mound for the White Sox and left-hander Scott Bales on the mound for the Cleveland Indians. All right, we will look at Dotson later. Right now, we're focusing mostly on Scott Bales, as he is the starting pitcher for the Cleveland Indians. Scott Bales in the 1987 season, 7-8 with a 4.64 ERA. He also spent some time in the bullpen as well. As a matter of fact, he had 6 saves, real world. Has not done quite as well in the replays. 3-5 with a 6.41 ERA and 3 saves. 66 innings pitched, but 93 hits allowed in those 66 innings pitched. So they've been tattooing him pretty good. 20 walks, 36 strikeouts. So he'll see what he can do here today against the Chicago White Sox. White Sox have loaded their lineup with right-handed hitters. In fact, other than Harold Baines, there are in fact, I've got something wrong here on my sheet here. Let me check my box score because I've got something that doesn't look right. So I want to verify this really quickly. Now, just notice this. Yeah, Manrique is actually a shortstop, not a second baseman. So I've got his ratings as a second baseman. I need his ratings as a shortstop. So let's look at that real quick. He's a 3E10, not a 3E13. 3E10, and he's a shortstop. As even Ozzie Guillen's not playing. So we don't have Ozzie Guillen. We don't have Greg Walker. Don't have Darryl Boston. Everybody on the bench for the White Sox is left-handed, except for Carlton Fisk. He's the only righty on the bench, and the only lefty in the lineup is Harold Baines. So heavy right-handed hitting lineup. One thing, even though Bales is having trouble, he is doing well at holding runners. He's a -4, combined with Dempsey's +1 for a -3. So maybe he can try to control the run game just a tad. We shall see. Leading off for the Chicago White Sox, it is going to be Jerry Royster. Royster, the third baseman in this ball game. Royster on the replay hitting .259, 4 homers, 10 driven in. And he hit .265, real world. We're underway from the mistake by the lake, 6-4. That's an in-home run chance right off the bat. Very first batter. Scott Bales is going to give up a home run most likely. Other than a 20, it's going to be gone. Jerry Royster does have normal power both sides of the plate. And with that being a 12, that's gone. So an inauspicious start here for Scott Bales as Royster hits his 5th home run of the season, leading off the ball game. RBI number 11 on the replay. And you don't think of Royster hitting all those many home runs. He had 7 in just 196 at-bats. So I guess if you extrapolate that to 600 at-bats, it's about 21 home runs. So it's decent power. But Scott Bales just put one in there, and that's all you need to know about that. Here's Gary Redus. He's in left field for this one. Redus hitting .237, 4 homers, 15 driven in. He hit .236 real world. It's a 5-4. That's a ballpark single check, which is a 1-11 at Municipal Stadium for Gary. Switch hitter. That's a 3-4 against the lefty. He's going to ground it to third, and Jacoby makes the play to end the inning. But the leadoff home run performed. He's one of the league's leading hitters. He's hitting .365 on the replay, 7 homers, 22 driven in. He hit 295 real world. In fact, Alan Trammell is the only person ahead of him in the batting for the replay. 210. 210 for Butler, and that's going to be a ground ball right back to Dotson. Pretty meek swing there. And Dotson must have fooled him because he didn't get much on that. He tapped it right back to the mound. One away for Tony Bernazard. Bernazard hitting 239 on the replay. 9 homers, 35 driven in. He hit 250 real world. He will later get traded to Oakland. Oh, that didn't fit through. Let's do that again. 6-11, switch hitter batting left. That's ground ball pitcher X. Dotson. He is a 2E14. 2/16, he'll get to that. E14 for a pitcher. And we'll figure out what that looks like. Pitcher E14, he's got to avoid 7, 13, 14, and 17. 7, 13, 14, and 17. And he does just that. So 2 ground balls right back to the mound. Not much going on for the Tribe here, the first 2 at bats. Brings up Julio Franco, shortstop. Franco hitting 288 on the replay. 6 homers, 38 driven in. He hit 319 real world. 3-2 against the right-hander. That's a ballpark single check. It's a 1 to an 11. And he gets the base hit. So Julio Franco, a 2-out single. See if he's going to look to run, although Dotson's very good at holding runners at a -5. Karkovice a -2, so -5 is the best you can get. But Franco's going to try for the lead anyway. He needs a 2 through 5. Gets the 6, he can't get the lead. He'll hold, and here comes Mr. Underperforming poster child, Joe Carter. Carter on the replay hitting 212, 16 homers, 34 driven in. He hit 264 with 32 home runs real world. 3-4, and he is hit by the pitch. So Dotson let one get away. Plunks Carter. And that'll pass the baton along to Pat Tabler in a clutch situation where he is neutral. Tabler hitting 318 on the replay. 5 homers, 39 driven in. He hit 307 real world. That's a 3-8. And that's another walk. It's going to load the bases. Bases are loaded with 2 outs. Well, you know what? I forgot to do the first sip. That's how out of practice I am, I guess. Forgot to do the first sip. You were absolutely correct. Oh, well, that happens. That happens. Take my first sip off camera in the bottom of the first inning, I guess. All right, Mel Hall. Mel Hall, left fielder. Hall is hitting 290 on the replay. 12 homers, 34 driven in. He hit 280 real world. Clutch situation with the bases loaded and 2 outs. Hall is neutral. That's a 5-8, and that's going to be a solid double 1-6 or a single 7-20. 2 runs will score, and Cleveland will take the lead. That's a double, so 2-run double for Mel Hall, scoring Carter and Franco. And the Tribe grab a 2-1 lead. Tabler going to third. 2-run double for Mel Hall. RBIs 35 and 36 for him. Cleveland now leads at 2-1, and here's Brooke Jacoby in a clutch situation. Brooke Jacoby will lose a couple of hits, 2-6, 2-7, and 3-5. That is a 1-5, and that's a straight-up home run for Brooke Jacoby. Let's get a close-up. No D20 needed here. 1-5 against right-handers is solid. Big, bold home run for Brooke Jacoby. And the Tribe take a 4-1 lead. For Jacoby, let's see how many home runs that is on the replay. Jacoby hits home run number 18. Home run number 18 for Brooke Jacoby. And Dotson's getting abused here in the first inning. RBIs 50 and 51 for Jacoby. It is now a 5-run lead. 5-1 ball game. And Dotson may be in for a short outing here. Brings up Corey Snyder, number 8 hitter. Corey Snyder hitting 242 on the replay, 15 homers, 38 driven in. He hit 236 real world. That's a 5-6, and that's a fly to right to finally end the inning. But a 5-run inning for Cleveland, capped off by Brooke Jacoby's 3-run home run, gives Cleveland a 5-1 lead. And maybe Scott Bales can do something with it. So here is Donnie Hill, second baseman for the White Sox, to lead off and see if they can get back in this game. Hill hitting 215 on the replay, 3 homers, 23 driven in. He hit 239 real world. Switch hitter will bat right-handed. That's a 5-4, and it's a ballpark single check. It's a 1-11. And that's going to end up being a fly to center for out number 1. Brett Butler hauls it in. 1 down for Ken Williams, center fielder. Williams hitting 226, 2 homers, 13 driven in. He hit 281 real world, so he's been kind of underperforming as well. 310 against the lefty. That's a fly to center. Butler will haul that one in as well. 2 down. And here comes shortstop Fred Manrique as they give Ozzie Guillen the game off against the left-handed starter. Manrique mostly plays second base, but does play short once in a while. He's hitting 224 on the replay, a homer and 12 driven in. He hit 258 real world. 3-3 lefty ground ball to short. Franco's got it. 1-2-3 inning for Scott Bales. Who is this Scott Bales person? Who is this Scott Bales person? And again, I lead the league in scam likelies. So if you want to call that number and bug the crap out of them, go right ahead. I'll read it off. 804-581-5901. Call them up, see who the heck they are. I ought to answer the call on the air just to tell them, where they're calling and who they're calling and kind of just, I don't know. I don't want to interrupt the flow of the game. I just think it's kind of hilarious sometimes. You get these spam calls coming in. It's just part of life, I guess. All right, we go to the bottom of the second, and Rich Dotson's got to regroup. He is facing the number 9 hitter, Rick Dempsey. Dempsey on the replay checks in at 209, a homer, 12 driven in. He only hit 177 real world. We get a 6-6, and that's going to be a line out right to Donnie Hill at second base. So even the outs are being hit hard. Could be seeing a lot of the White Sox bullpen for this game. Here's Brett Butler. Joe, the way I handle that, you can go in there and keep that runner at third base. You do not have to move them to the home base. You can click the drop-down menu and keep them at third base. And if there's a runner on second, you can keep him at second. I mean, you can manipulate it so they don't score. But yes, I do like Action PC for manual entry. I mean, I'll play the game itself once in a while just to be different, but it's really not my thing. All right, here is Brett Butler. It's a 4-6, and that's a strikeout. That's the first strikeout for Rich Dotson. First strikeout. Here's Tony Bernazard. 6-4, and that's a ballpark blast for Bernazard. He does have normal power. He's a switch hitter batting left-handed, so a 1-8. And Bernazard will go deep. He does not. It ends up being a fly out. Ends up being a fly out to, looks like a right field, I guess. Yeah, fly out to right field to end the inning. So Dotson much better here in the second inning. Top of the third we go. Scott Bales will face Manrique. I'm sorry, we'll face Karkovice, the weak-hitting Ron Karkovice. Karkovice is actually doing better in the real season. I'm sorry, in the replay than he's doing the real season. He's hitting 154 on the replay with 2 homers and 9 driven in. He only hit 071 real world. He's been getting some breaks and getting some results off the pitcher card. Whoops, that didn't go through. Let's redo that. Now he's got to deal with his own card. 3-6, and he strikes out. First strikeout for Bales. 1 away for Jerry Royster. Royster led off the game. I don't know, Joe. I'd have to play the game to figure it out. I don't know the scenario you're referring to at the moment. Oh, you're saying that on the actual roll, the guy on third does score, but since the guy hit into a double play, there should be no RBI given to the batter, but the computer gives him the RBI anyway. That could just be a bug that just could be a what do you call it? Something that needs to be patched or something. Maybe reach out to Action PC and see if they can work around that. Now that I understand what you're saying, I think I understand what you're saying. You want the guy to be able to score, but not be given credit for an RBI because he hit into a double play. Say the bases were loaded, nobody out, and the guy hits to a 6-4-3 double play. The guy on third scores, but he shouldn't get credit for the RBI. That sounds like something that needs to be patched or corrected in the software. There is no workaround for it that I'm aware of. The only thing you can do is at that point go into the stats after the game is over. I think you can edit the replay stats and just take the RBI away from the guy. But that sounds like a pain in the butt to me. All right, here's Royster. 112 against the lefty, and that's a ballpark blast for Royster. He's got a chance to go back-to-back. 1-11 for the home run. And he did it. Jerry Royster he's got Scott Bales' number, that's for sure. 2 for 2, 2 ballpark home runs. And he's the whole White Sox offense. It's 5-2. Here's Gary Reedus. 1-7, and that is a strikeout. Strikeout number 2 for Bales. And that brings up Harold Baines, lefty. That's a 1-7. Struck him out. So Bales comes back and strikes out the side after the home run from Mr. Royster. But Cleveland still leads 5-2 as we go to the bottom of the third. And Dotson back out will face Franco, Carter, and Tabler. Oops. There we go. 3-6 for Franco, and he's going to draw a base on balls. Second walk issued by Dotson. Dotson just not right today for whatever reason. Franco looking to get the lead. That's a 2, though. It's possible that Dotson has balked while he's trying to get the lead. So let's see what the balk rating is on Dotson. See if a balk, but either way, Franco cannot get the lead now. Dotson has a 0 balk rating, so cannot balk, but that means that Franco cannot establish a good lead anymore. And he'll just stay at first base. They probably have something on their, Joe, they probably have something on their Facebook group that you can, or either on the website itself, there's probably on the Action PC website, there's probably a technical thing to send something to. I thought at one time there was a specific person you would email, but I don't know who that would be. But it's either on the Facebook group or either on their own website. There's got to be somebody you can contact and say, hey, this is what's happening. Can there be a patch to fix this or something like that? All right, so all right, something's not right here with what I'm looking at. So let me fix this on the computer really quick. I actually gave Harold Baines a walk instead of a strikeout. I have no idea why. I think because Franco walked and I hadn't recorded the strikeout for Baines yet. So Baines strikes out, Franco walks, and now Dotson facing Joe Carter. And that is a 5-7. And that's a ground ball shortstop X, potential double play. Manrique is a 3E10. 3-12. Let's see if that's a G1 or a G2. 3-12 might be a G2. 3-12 is a G2. So it's fielder's choice at best. He's an E10 at shortstop. He's got to avoid 16, 17, and 18, which he does, barely. But it's going to be a 6-4 fielder's choice. Carter, the new runner at first base. So Pat Tabler is up, but Carter is going to look to get the lead as well. He's going to try to get that good lead, 2 through 5, and he's got it. So he's going to go 19 being held to 17, -5 to 12, 1 to 12, still a 60% chance. And he's in there, stolen base, Joe Carter. So for Carter, let's look at his stolen base prowess, real world and replay. On the real season, Joe Carter stole 31 bases, got caught 6 times. This is his 10th stolen base on the replay, but been caught 5 times. He's just not getting on base enough to steal bases, but he does get his 10th steal right here. Gets in a scoring position with 1 out for Pat Tabler. .38 for Tabler. That's another walk. And I tell you right now, the White Sox bullpen is up and active because Rich Dotson just not doing what he needs to be doing for sure. And they have left-hander Joel McKeon. He's got the best, he's got a 3 relief rating, so he can give him some innings. So Joel McKeon, a lefty, is loosening in the White Sox bullpen because Dotson is definitely struggling, to say the least. So Tabler walks, and here comes Mel Hall. First and second, 1 out. That's a 5-7. That's a ground ball shortstop X. Another chance at a double play. Manrique a 3. 3-11, though. It's going to be another G2. 3-11 is another G2. And again, 16, 17, and 18 are the ones to avoid, which he does. So another fielder's choice, 6-4. Going to third is Carter. And Hall's at first with 2 down. That'll send up Brooke Jacoby. He hit the 3-run homer his first time up. That is a 110, and he might do it again. That's a ballpark blast. So 1 to an 11, and Brooke Jacoby will go deep again for another 3-run homer. And he does. That's going to be it for Dotson. He's done. A second 3-run home run for Brooke Jacoby is 19th of the replay. RBIs 53, 54, and 55. And it is now 8-0. Well, Dotson's tired, but they're going to let him finish the inning. They'll start McKeon fresh in the 4th inning. But he's definitely tired, no question about it. Going to try to get Snyder to get out of to end the inning. 1-2, and that's a Lomax plus injury. So he Lomaxed it to third. And now Snyder might be injured. 1 to 6, he stays in the game. 7 or higher, he's injured. He stays in the game. So Snyder fought it off. And that's it for Dotson. He just got blown up in this game. 8 runs he gave up in 3 innings. All earned. Boy, it's going to kill the old ERA there. And Joel McKeon draws mop-up duty for the White Sox. So let's see how many hits and everything. Only 4 hits. But a lot of walks. 3 walks, a hit batter. He was just all over the place. Only struck out 1. So he just, plain and simple, didn't have it today. And that can happen. And now, Scott Bales, if you're ever going to get a win, now's the time to do it. You've been given an 8-2 lead. If you can't hold this lead, I don't know what to tell you. Maybe you need to go to AAA. But he's going to be in there facing Ivan Calderon. He's got to pitch at least 2 more innings to get the qualify for the win. That's a 6-5, and that's a triple 1-4, double 5-20. That'll be a double for Ivan Calderon. 14th double of the season for Calderon in the replay. Brings up Jerry Hairston. 6-2, and that's a base on balls. Last thing you want to do when you have a big lead, start walking guys. First walk by Bales. That'll send up Donnie Hill. First and second, nobody out. 4-10, and that's going to be a strikeout for Bales. He needed that in the worst way. 4th strikeout for Mr. Bales. Brings up Ken Williams. 3-5 for Williams, and that's a 1-9 single. 10-20, he lines out, and he lines out to the shortstop, Julio Franco, for out number 2. 2 down, clutch situation for Fred Manrique. In the clutch against the lefties, Manrique will lose a hit on 3-7. That is a 3. And what do we roll? We roll a 3-7. How do you like that? Would have been a single, but even though it's 8-2, it's still technically a clutch situation by rule. So that single becomes a pop-up to short, and that cost them a run. The only anti-clutch roll was 3-7, and we roll a 3-7. Go figure. When it's that kind of day, it's that kind of day if you're the White Sox. You just know it's not your day. There's nothing you can do about it. Just try to endure. All right, here's Joel McKeon. We'll bring him on in the computer and see what kind of numbers he has. I don't think he's been used all that much. He is a very marginal type pitcher. But they got to get Dotson out of there. There's just no other way around it. McKeon is definitely fresh. He's definitely not overused. So let's see what he's done here. Of course, in the real season, 1-2 with a 9.43 ERA. On the replays, 0-0, but he's got an 11.15 ERA. 15 innings pitched, 27 hits, 7 walks, 12 strikeouts. So obviously, he's a perfect mop-up guy if you're the White Sox. Here's Dempsey, 3-6 against the lefty McKeon. That's a 1 for a home run. Anything else, he flies to left. And he will hit a fly ball out to left field that Gary Reedus puts away. 1 down. Top of the order for Brett Butler, lefty-lefty matchup. 3-9 for Butler, and that's another walk. Butler, with an 8-2 lead, they're not going to try to steal. Here is Bernazard. Bernazard 0 for 2. 3-5 for Bernazard. Grounds it to short. It'll be a fielder's choice, 6-4. 2 down. Bernazard, the new runner. He will also not try to go anywhere with the lead score being what it is. Here's Julio Franco. 4-9 for Franco. Ground ball to short again. So, boy, Manrique getting a lot of practice over there. 3-10. 3 and a 9 should be okay. 3 and a 9 is a G3, so no problems. Again, he's got to avoid 16, 17, and 18, which he does, so it's a good play. For simplicity, well, it's a G3, so he throws it to first. Don't have to worry about it. And that's going to end the inning. So McKeon gets through a scoreless inning for a change. And we go to the 5th. This is the inning Bales has to complete to qualify for the win. It's also his fatigue inning. So we'll make sure he can negotiate this inning. And he'll be facing Mr. Karkovice. 6-12, and that's a fly ball left field X. We're looking at Hall. He's a 3 E4. 3 and a 7. I think he gets to that, but verify it. Could be close. 3 and a 7. It's the last number in the first number in the out range. So he does get to it. He's an E4. The only way he makes an error as an E4 is 3, 4, 15, and 18. And so he will make the play, and Mr. Karkovice is out of there. 1 down. Back to the top of the order for Royster, who's homered off of Bales twice. 1-8, and this is going to be a ground ball to short, so they finally retire Royster. 2 up, 2 down. Brings up Gary Reedus. 6-9, and that's going to be a walk, not what they wanted. Don't need to be walking, guys. Got to make them earn it. Reedus would normally be a good base runner to try to steal, but down 8-2, you're not going to take that chance. Is Harold Baines. 3-8 for Baines, and he struck him out. Strikeout number 5 for Bales, and Bales will pitch into the 6th. No question. So he is now the pitcher record for a win for the Tribe. McKeon back out, and he'll face Carter, Tabler, and Hall. Start the bottom of the 5th. 6-12, right-hander, fly ball left field X. We're looking at Reedus. He's a 3 E8. 3 and a 9, he'll get to that. E8 for a left fielder. E8 left fielder. It's 3, 6, and then 15 through 18. 3, 6, and then 15 through 18. And that's a 6. That will be an error. Let's check it out again for Reedus. E8. There's a 2-base error right here under E8. A 2-base error has the number 6 right here. So Reedus boots it, drops it, does whatever he does to it. 2-base error on Reedus. Kind of nonchalanted it. Popped out of the old, I always say, taught us in Little League, always use 2 hands, but you never see anybody in the major leagues use 2 hands anymore. So here is Tabler. 1-4 for Tabler. It's a fly to center. Away. One down for Mel Hall. Doesn't usually face a lot of lefties, but he will here in this situation. 2-9 for Hall, and he hits a solid double. RBI double for Mel Hall against the lefty. You know it's going right when you do that. Wow. Mel Hall, RBI double. It's 9-2 Cleveland. Unearned run, obviously, but still counts. Here's Jacoby. 6-11, and that's a strikeout for McKeon, his first. Now, any other runs this inning will also be unearned. Here's Corey Snyder, still a clutch situation, and he loses a hit on 3-12. 1-7 struck him out to end the inning. Unearned run, thanks to the 2-base error by Gary Reedus. Can't blame McKeon on that one. He pitched well. Just didn't get the support he needs. He's going to come back out and pitch a 3rd inning, obviously, because he has pitched well. And now we go to the top of the 6th, Bales. will be facing Calderon, Hairston, and Hill, scheduled hitters. Bales facing Calderon. 4-6. 4-6 is going to be a fly to center, and that's one away. There's a dot there, but he has not reached his fatigue yet. So the fly out to center is good. Tomorrow's game is either going to be Baltimore at Minnesota or Toronto at Kansas City. I'm going to play them both. I just don't know which order I'm going to do them in yet. And then, of course, probably into next week, we'll keep the same date going. And we'll have Detroit and Seattle, Boston, Oakland. And I believe California, Texas. Those are the remaining games. Here's Hairston. That's a 3-10. And that is a fly to center, 2 down. And that'll take us to Donnie Hill. 5-9, switch hitter. Ground ball back to Bales. So Bales keeps endurance into the 7th. Pitching very well for himself. Go to the bottom of the 6th. Still 9-2. Obviously not an exciting game, but going to drudge through it anyway. Here's Rick Dempsey. This is one of these games that I was playing by my, a replay by myself on the computer. I'd probably auto sim and finish it, just so I didn't have to. But when we're doing cards and dice, you got to finish. There is no auto simming. 2-2 against the left-hander is a foul out. 1 away. Still a couple things could happen. I mean, you're looking at potential 3 home run games for a couple of players. Royster and Jacoby both have a chance to hit 3 home runs in the game. So that's something, I guess. Butler, 1-2 against the lefter. Ground ball to short. Handled by Manrique, 2 down. But you can't get thrillers all the time. I mean, you're going to get duds. Just happens. Play that many games, you're going to have duds. Here's Bernazard. 1-10, and that's a split. 1-6, 7-20 for a line out. And that will be a line out to Manrique, who was actually getting a lot of action over at shortstop in this game, that's for sure. So we go to the top of the 7th. And Bales back out. We'll face Williams, Manrique, and Karkovice. That is a 1-10 for Williams, and that's a 1-3 triple, 4-20 for a double. Leadoff double for Ken Williams. Leadoff double, and here comes Manrique. He's not too tight. That's a 1, so chance of a wild pitch on Bales. He's got a 5 wild pitch rating. No wild pitch as it's blocked by Dempsey. 6-5, and that's going to be a triple 1-4. 5-20 is a double. That is a double. So back-to-back doubles, and Bales may be running out of gas. Cleveland bullpen starts to stir. I know it's 9-3, but you don't want to have him be in a situation where he takes a good outing and ends up in a mediocre outing. So here's Karkovice. 5-10, and that's a catcher X. We're looking at Dempsey. He's a 3. 3-10. This could be some sort of a wild pitch, perhaps, or a pass ball. 3-10 is a potential pass ball. His error rating is a 13. So he's got quite a few errors he can run into. That's a 17, and it's going to be an error on the catcher. So the P/F, instead of a wild pitch chance or pass ball chance, we're looking over here at the error. Catcher drops a foul ball, so play resumes after that. So it is going to be an E2, on a foul. So I've got to note that so when I put it in the computer that I can give Dempsey his error without anything happening on the base paths. And I'll actually put it in the computer right now. Solve that problem. So the error is credited to Dempsey. 1-8 for Karkovice, struck him out. That is strikeout number 6 for Bales. And that's going to send up Royster, chance for third home run of the game. 1-8, but he's going to ground to short instead. That'll keep the runner Manrique at second base. So 2 away. And Gary Reedus, the batter. Clutch situation by definition for Reedus. In the clutch, he will lose a hit 110, and that's it. Just 110. 6-8, and that's a 1-15 single. 16-20 is a line out. The single's only 1 star, so the runner would not score. And it will be a single, but it's only a 1-star single. Moves Manrique to third. Runners on the corners. 2 outs. Bales has now reached his fatigue, but they will let him pitch to Baines as a lefty. In the bullpen, the Tribe have Mark Huseman, a right-hander, ready to go, but they're going to let Bales face Baines. This is his last batter, whether he gets him out or not. Lefty. That is a 6-7. 6-7 is a single to right field, and that's going to be all for Mr. Bales. Reedus will take third. RBI single. And that's going to do it for Mr. Bales. He's going to go 6 2/3. And we will bring in Mark Huseman, a right-hander, to come in and pitch. To face Calderon. Let's get the Huseman, the right-hander. He's a -2, makes him a -1. So Huseman will come on. Get the numbers on Huseman, both on the replay and on the real season. Real season, I believe he started with Seattle and then was traded to Kansas City. So these are his combined numbers, 2 and 3 with a 5.04 ERA for Mr. Huseman on the real season. On the replay, he's 3 and 5 with 3, and Huseman had 6 saves real world. On the replay, 3 and 5 with 3 saves and a 6.19 ERA. Oh, wait a minute, I didn't bring him in the computer yet, so I'm looking at Bales' numbers. Hold on, let's bring him on in the computer. Then we can actually get his real numbers. Mr. Huseman. His real numbers, 2 and 5, 5.59 ERA, 39 innings pitched, 47 hits, 13 walks, 30 strikeouts. So Huseman facing Calderon in a clutch situation. 1st and 3rd, 2 out, 2 in, 2 on. 2-6, oops, would help to have Calderon at the plate, wouldn't it? 2-6 for Calderon, 1-15 is a single. 16-20 he lines out. That's a 17, so it's snagged by Franco, and they stopped the bleeding with just 2 runs. So we finished the book on Bales. He goes 6 2/3, giving up 2 runs. I'm sorry, 4 runs. I don't know, 2 runs that inning, 4 runs overall. So it's going to give up. So not a great outing as it turns out, with 4 runs and 6 2/3, but certainly qualifies for the win, as it's now a 9-4 ball game. And we'll go to the computer and get the rest of his numbers, so I don't have to add them up. Go to the box score. And we have, for Bales, 6 2/3, 8 hits, 4 runs, Actually, one of these runs is unearned because the foul out, but that still should be earned because after the foul out, the batter struck out. So the foul had nothing. The computer glitched on that one. The computer's saying only 3 earned runs, but they're definitely all earned. 2 walks, 6 strikeouts. So we go to the bottom of the seventh inning stretch. McKeon back out. This is his 3rd inning. He's got a 3 fatigue factor. Actually, he's pitched 3 innings already, but he's pitched so well, you hate to take him out. So I'm going to leave him in there until they tell me he can't run it, until they tell me he can't pitch anymore. So they're going to leave him in there, facing Franco. That is a 1-7 for Franco. 1-8's a double. 9-20, he flies out. And that's a double for Franco. Leadoff double. Julio Franco. Here's Joe Carter. 2-5 for Carter. Lines it to 3rd. 1 away. One down for Pat Tabler. 3-4 for Tabler. He lines it to 3rd. So back-to-back line-outs to 3rd base. 2 outs, and Mel Hall, who doubled his first time up against McKeon, will get to face another lefty. Another bat versus a lefty. 1-8, and this time he struck out to end the inning. That's going to be it for McKeon. But McKeon will go 4 solid innings. 4 solid innings, only giving up 1 run. And that was unearned on top of it. So 1 run unearned. Really, really nice outing here. Let's see, he walked 1, struck out 3, it looks like, giving up just the 2 hits, the 2 doubles there. So we go to the 8th inning. Huseman back out. That's it for McKeon. White Sox will need a new pitcher in the bottom of the 8th. Right now, Huseman back out. He will be facing Hairston, Hill, and Williams. Of course, now with the lefty not in the game anymore, all those left-handers on the bench are ready to go to pinch hit for the White Sox if they deem it necessary. See how they want to play it. Jerry Hairston's a pretty decent hitter, though. He hit not really, hit 230. So let's see. Do they want to bring in a pinch? Well, they're going to go ahead until it gets closer. They're going to go ahead and stick with their original lineup. Here's Hairston. 2-4, and that's a ground ball to short. 1 away. The intention was to give these other guys the game off, so no sense wasting them as a pinch hitter when a game that's still a blowout. Here's Donnie Hill. That's a 4-7 for Hill. Switch hitter batting left. That's a ground ball second base X. We're looking at Mr. Bernazard. He is a 4. 4-2, that's a base hit. E22 and a 14. This could be an error on top of that. Let's take a look here. E22 and a 14 at second base. Nope, 12 and 18 and 17 are the errors. So no error, but it will be a base hit. And that'll bring up Ken Williams. Williams, the batter. .111, and that's a fly to right. 2 down. For Fred Manrique. 5-10, and that's a catcher X. We're looking at Dempsey. He's a 3. 3 and a 4 for a catcher. Probably a potential wild pitch of some sort. 3 and a 4 is going to be a wild pitch. Make sure there's no error first. That's an 11. He's an E13. There is no 11 there, but it will be a wild pitch. So Huseman uncorks a wild pitch. Moves Hill to second. Turns us into technically a clutch situation now for Manrique, where he will lose a hit on 3-6 and 2-2. Get a 4-3, and it's a ground ball first base X. We are looking at the first baseman Carter, 3E24. 3 and a 5. This might get by him. It's not holding anybody on, but we'll see. 3 and a 5. Nope, he gets the G3. So he makes it just in time, but he is an E24 at first base. So he does have to avoid a slew of numbers here, 11 through 14, and then 17 and 18. And that is a 12. That will be an error. On an E24, a 12 is an error. So Joe Carter boots it, E3. That'll keep the inning going. Puts runners at the corners. And 2 outs. And they will pinch hit for Karkovice. We'll go ahead and pinch hit for Karkovice. And they will bring in one of their big lefty pinch hitters, or lefty bench players, I should say. And that will be Greg Walker. They'll bring in Walker, and then Fisk will catch the bottom of the 8th. So Walker is in to pinch hit. And then Fisk will catch in the bottom of the 8th. So Greg Walker, bring him on in the computer. Get his numbers. If he gets a long ball, all of a sudden the White Sox are right back in this game. So they're going for the gusto right here. Greg Walker on the replay is hitting .224, 4 homers, 26 driven in. He's an underperformer as well. He had 27 home runs real world. And in almost half his at-bats, he's only got 4 home runs. Most of these other players are overdoing their home runs. He's underdoing the home runs. Maybe he gets a strong second half. I don't know. Here's Huseman to Walker. That is a 6-4. Ground ball third base X. That's Jacoby. He is a 4. 4 and a 20. He gets to it. E25. He's got to avoid the error. E25. He's an error on a 6, 8, 13, 15, or 17. 10's going to be just fine. Jacoby will make the play. And they get out of it with no damage done. So Walker grounds to Jacoby to end the inning. And now we bring in Fisk to catch, and we bring in a new pitcher for the White Sox as well. And we'll see who that's going to be. That is going to be, who do we go to? They're all kind of got a lot more usage than they probably wanted. Let's look at their bullpen, see who they might want to go to here in this 9-4 game, which obviously is pretty much decided. They'll go with Ralph Citarella. So Citarella will get the call, and he'll be facing Jacoby, Snyder, and Dempsey, scheduled hitters. So we'll bring in Citarella, not to be confused with Cinderella. Citarella, on his real season, he had 11 innings pitched, 7.36 ERA. In the replay, he's done very well, beyond well. He's pitched 8 innings and is not allowed to run, only 2 hits and no runs, ERA of 0. So he's definitely overperformed in his little mini sample size there. Here's Jacoby. That's a 4-6, and that's going to be a line out to short. And boy, they're still peppering Fred Manrique with baseballs over there. Good thing Ozzie Guillen he picked a good game to take the game off, because he would have been run ragged defensively. Here's Corey Snyder. That's a 6-6 for Corey Snyder. And that's going to be a 1 to 16 is going to be a double. And it's an 18. Boy, Citarella just living right over there. It's fly ball to left field, 2 down. And here's Rick Dempsey. 6-2, that's a fly ball left field X. We're looking at Reedus. He's a 3. 3-20, he'll get to it. E8. E8 and a 4. Probably not going to be a problem, but we'll check it out. See what E8. Nope, 6 is the low. 3 and a 6 are there, but no 4. So good play. And it's a 1-2-3 inning for Citarella. He's now pitched 9 innings of a 2-hit shutout ball if you extrapolate all of his appearances. So he's just been getting lucky, I guess. All I can say. That in a very small sample size, which adds to it. So we go to the 9th. Last chance for the White Sox. 9-4 ball game. And Houston's going to try to finish things out. He'll be facing the top of the order, Royster, Reedus, and Baines. It is obviously not a save situation. How do I handle foul outs? I'm not sure what you mean. Well, I know like on a catcher, I put in pop out instead of foul out because it thinks you're flying out to the catcher. So I just put in, I mean, it doesn't really matter to me. I just put in pop out. If that's what you're asking. But I did notice if you do FO and you do the catcher, it asks you, do you really want to do a fly out to the catcher? Because it's thinking fly out to the foul out. But all right. Here is Royster, but I really don't worry about it. An out's an out, in my opinion. So here is Royster. 4-7. 4-7 is a ground ball second base X. That is Bernazar. He's a 4. 4-3 base hit. 14 and an E22. There is no 14, so it won't be an error. But Royster will get his 3rd hit of the game. So Royster came into play. I don't know if any other White Sox came into play, but certainly Royster did. And here is, and they're not going to have any stealing when it's 9-4. So here's Reedus. 6-12, and that's a ground ball shortstop X. We're looking at Franco. 2E26. 2 and a 5 might be a fielder's choice at best. Shortstop, 2 and a 5. Yep, well, actually it's a G3, so it's going to be only play at first. He's an E26 at short. Has to avoid 12, 17, and 18. And he does just that, but the only play is going to be to first base. Royster will take second on the ground out. But Cleveland doesn't care right now. They just want outs. Royster's run doesn't mean anything. Here is Harold Baines. That's a 3-4 for Harold Baines. And that's a pop out to first. It would have been a clutch hit, but there are not 2 outs. So it pops it up to first. 2 down, and the final batter possibly is Ivan Calderon. Technically a clutch situation for Calderon. That's a 4-4, and that's a ballpark single check. 1, 2, and 11 for Calderon. 12 or higher, the game is over. That's a base hit. 1 star, though. It's going to put runners at the corners with 2 outs. So that'll send up Jerry Hairston, the scheduled hitter, but I believe he's going to be called back. White Sox will go for a better hitter. They will go to Steve Lyons. Lyons, a 280 hitter. So Steve Lyons will pinch hit for Hairston. Here in the 9th, Steve Lyons. So Lyons is on. We'll get the numbers on Lyons on the replay. Lyons on the replay is hitting .314, no homers, 5 driven in, and 35 at bats. He hit .280 real world, I believe it was. Yep, .280 real world in 193 at bats. So Huseman trying to finish things out. They really don't want to have to get Doug Jones up. They'd rather have Huseman finish it up. 2-10 for Lions, and that's a ground ball back to Huseman, and the game is finally over. Wasn't pretty by any means. Tribe win it by the score of 9-4. Dotson drops to 8-5. Bales goes to 4-5. And we'll go to the box score. Get the totals. And get you ready for tomorrow's game. So I'm able to pull up the box score. And complete Huseman's numbers. Huseman goes 2 1/3. He's going to give up 3 hits, no runs, though. No walks, no strikeouts. So for the Tribe, 9 runs, 6 hits, and 2 errors. For the White Sox, 4 runs, 11 hits, and 1 error. In a losing cause, you could give Royster the player of the game, but obviously the player of the game belongs to Brooke Jacoby. 2 3-run home runs, 1 in the first and 1 in the third, sealed the fate of the White Sox. Brooke Jacoby had 32 home runs real world. He hits home runs number 18 and 19 in this one, and he is your player of the game, Brooke Jacoby, in a 9-4 victory. Looking ahead to tomorrow, and we will be in Minnesota. It'll be Eric Bell, a lefty for the Orioles, against Les Straker, a right-hander for the Twins. That'll be tomorrow. That'll be the Friday game, and then we'll pick it up next week with the other games and try to get back on track somehow if we can. Missing those 2 days really, took me out of my rhythm I had, but that's okay. We can get it back. We can figure it out. Yeah, Joe, I'm not sure. Like I said, I haven't experienced a whole lot of those situations, but anything that I would send any kind of thing that doesn't look right to the admin of Action PC and ask them about either a workaround or a patch and see if they'll come out. I mean, I never downloaded the last patch. I have a problem with Action PC. It won't let me undo the last play, even though I chose that in my options. It will not let me delete the last play. So if I'm entering a game and I type in something wrong by accident, I have to do a workaround to try to fix it because it won't let me undo it. Either that, if it's early enough in the game, I'll just restart the game. But there's a little glitch there where it won't let me do that. Maybe the most recent patch took care of that. I don't know. I had a problem trying to download that patch, so I really didn't want to mess with it. I just figured I'd just leave it alone. Because right now the only replay I'm doing where I'm really serious about it is this one, and I got Strat-PC for that, and that takes care of everything I need. The Rockies replay is more of a fun replay. I am using Action PC for it, but if there's a little glitch there, so be it. But just like anything else, like Game Pulse and Action PC, all those things like that are going to have probably updates coming down the road. It's not going to be perfect right now. It's very good, but I imagine come December, when they come out with the next Action PC version, a lot of that stuff will probably be addressed. So maybe they're holding off for that. I don't know. It's a long way between July and December, though. You'd think they put out some patches, but they got to be told about them, I guess. So, I would say the best thing to do is to let those people know what the issues are and see if they can't get a patch out there to get that straightened out. So from here, Cleveland Indians take care of the White Sox pretty handily, thanks to Brooke Jacoby and his 2 3-run home runs. That's all right, Joe. I mean, you're passionate about the hobby, which is a good thing. So that's going to do it from here. Again, tomorrow for our Friday game, we'll be at the Metrodome in Minnesota, where the Baltimore Orioles will take on the Minnesota Twins. It'll be lefty Eric Bell for the Orioles against right-hander Les Straker for the Twins. Also, tomorrow afternoon, probably, I'm guessing, we'll have the third round coverage of the RBC Heritage Open in History Maker Golf. This is the tournament that follows the Masters, played in Hilton Head, South Carolina. It'll be the third round for that. There is no cut for that. It's an invite thing. 72 guys were invited. So I'm going to pull out the 72 golfers and let them go to third round and figure out who the top 12 are going to be. And that'll be tomorrow afternoon, perhaps. Tonight, it'll be the final game of the Rockies' brief 3-game homestand against the Washington Nationals. They've lost the first 2 games. They're going to try to salvage game 3 tonight from Coors Field. That'll be tonight, roughly around 9:15-ish or so Eastern. As we get closer to wrapping up the week here, as we're getting closer to the weekend. Until next time, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it, and we'll see you all down the road.